Alexander Graves lived in a world of glass towers, stock market battles, and luxury so refined that silence itself seemed expensive. His mansion sprawled across 20 acres of sculpted hills, guarded by iron gates and men with earpieces. Inside its marbled halls, people moved like ghosts, silent, efficient, and invisible. That was how Alexander preferred it. Maria was one of those ghosts. She had been his housemaid for nearly 10 years. Responsible, respectful, and always early. She never asked for favors, never lingered, never spoke unless spoken to. Her daughter, Lily, often accompanied her after school, helping fold laundry or polish silverware. Where Maria was quiet and cautious, Lily was warm and alert. She greeted everyone, even grumpy security guards, with a smile. She never seemed intimidated by wealth or marble floors. She simply existed like she belonged, though everyone knew she didn't. But there was one person who did belong here, yet felt like he didn't. Ethan Graves. 11 years old. Pale. Introverted. Often seen wandering the gardens alone or sitting in the corner of the grand library with a book twice his size. Despite being the heir to a multi-billion-dollar empire, Ethan behaved more like a shadow than a prince. While Alexander saw confidence as currency, Ethan saw attention as danger. He avoided eye contact, avoided social gatherings, avoided people. Alexander assumed that was normal. He had been reserved as a child too. But unlike Ethan, he had learned to be feared. What Alexander didn't know was that Ethan's silence wasn't arrogance, it was survival. At school, his last name made him a target. His classmates, children of CEOs and politicians, didn't admire him, they tested him. They mocked him for being quiet. They called him, robot, mute prince, spoiled statue. Teachers never noticed, or pretended not to. And Ethan endured, until the day he couldn't anymore. It happened after school one rainy afternoon. The chauffeur had stepped away to answer a call just as Ethan stepped out of the car near the service entrance of the mansion. 3 boys followed him. Ethan recognized them instantly. His classmates. "Aw, little prince ran home to cry," one jeered. "Bet daddy buys him courage for Christmas," another laughed. They shoved him, not hard enough to bruise, but hard enough to humiliate. Ethan wanted to yell, to fight back, to do anything. Instead, he froze. His heartbeat roared in his ears. His throat locked. He hated himself in that moment, not for being weak, but for being unable to stop being weak. Then he heard footsteps. Not heavy. Not threatening. Calm. Lily. She had been delivering groceries her mother asked her to bring when she saw them. No hesitation. No fear. She marched straight up to them like she was facing toddlers, not trust fund hyenas. "Back off," she said. They turned, and laughed. One tried to grab her shoulder. He never touched her. In a blur, Lily twisted his wrist and shoved him down into the mud. Ethan stared. The bullies fled. Lily didn't even smile. She simply reached out her hand. "Come on," she said softly. "Let's go home." And in that moment, Ethan realized something. He didn't need a bodyguard. He needed a friend. Dinner at the Graves mansion was usually a quiet affair, if not completely silent. Alexander preferred efficiency over conversation, and Ethan rarely spoke unless asked direct questions. Maria and Lily, as members of the staff, normally stayed far from the grand dining hall during family meals. But that night, an exception unfolded. Ethan burst into the kitchen with an energy Maria had never seen from him before. Lily followed behind, embarrassed yet amused. Before Maria could even ask what they were doing inside the staff area during family dining hours, Ethan threw his arms around Lily. "She saved me," he shouted proudly. "She fought them." Maria blinked. "What?" Lily quickly pulled back. "Ethan, stop." But it was too late. Alexander had entered. Normally, his presence made everyone stiffen, straighten their backs, adjust their tone. But this time, Ethan didn't even notice him. He grabbed his father's sleeve. Grabbed, something he hadn't done since he was a toddler. "Dad, Lily beat up the boys who bully me." Maria turned pale. "Bully. Beat up." Her job flashed before her eyes. "This is it. I'm fired. We're finished." Lily stepped forward quickly. "Mr. Graves, I didn't beat anyone. You defended my son," Alexander interrupted. His voice was calm. Too calm. Maria's knees nearly gave out. Then he turned fully toward Lily. "Show me." Everyone froze. "Yes, sir," Lily stammered. Alexander gestured toward one of the security guards standing nearby, a large man trained in professional protection. He nodded once, and the guard stepped forward in a defensive stance. Maria gasped. "No, she'll get hurt." But Alexander's gaze never left Lily. "Go on." Lily didn't understand what game he was playing. Was he mocking her, testing her, or was this some twisted aristocratic ritual? But she looked at Ethan, eyes wide, hopeful. He believed in her. She couldn't fail now. The guard threw a slow, controlled punch to test her reflexes. Lily sidestepped. He tried again, faster. She ducked, grabbed his arm, and twisted it behind his back. The guard grunted, surprised. A few seconds later, he tapped out. Silence. Alexander's lips twitched, almost into a smile. Maria covered her mouth, overwhelmed with relief and disbelief. Ethan clapped like a child at a circus show. That was the moment everything shifted. Alexander stepped forward and, stunning everyone, placed his hand on Lily's shoulder. "You have courage," he said quietly. Something most adults lack. Maria was speechless. Lily didn't know whether to tremble or stand tall. Ethan simply stared at his father, shocked. Then Alexander did something no one expected. "From now on," he said to Lily, "you'll be training with Ethan. If you're going to defend him, you'll do it properly." Lily's jaw dropped. "Sir, you're not just anything," he said sternly. "You are exceptional." From that day, everything found a new rhythm. Every morning, before school, Lily and Ethan trained together in the private gym. At first, Ethan was awkward and slow. But Lily cheered him on. Every small victory, every block, every dodge, made him stand straighter. And Alexander watched, quietly, thoughtfully, as his son laughed, as a maid's daughter became a warrior. As a billionaire realized, strength wasn't inherited, it was earned. Weeks turned into months, and the changes in the Graves household became undeniable. Ethan no longer walked with his shoulders hunched. He spoke louder, smiled more, and even initiated conversations with staff. Lily's presence had transformed him from a frightened boy into someone who actually wanted to wake up each morning. Alexander noticed everything. He began finishing his meetings earlier. He lingered in the gym longer than usual. He didn't interrupt their training sessions, he simply observed. But something was different about him too. His eyes were softer, his posture less rigid. It was as if the ice around him had started to thaw. One afternoon, as Lily and Ethan finished sparring, Alexander approached them, not as a businessman, not as a billionaire, but as a father. "Good work," he said. Ethan's eyes widened. His father rarely praised him. Alexander continued, turning to Lily. "You've done more for my son in a month than I have in 11 years. Lily opened her mouth to deny it, but he held up a hand. "No false modesty. You gave him courage. You gave him joy." Then, without another word, he turned and walked away. The next day, Alexander summoned Maria and Lily to his office, a room usually reserved for high-stakes negotiations and corporate affairs. Maria clutched her apron nervously, fearing bad news. Instead, Alexander presented them with two neatly sealed envelopes. Maria opened hers first. It was a contract, formal, embossed, and stamped. But not a termination notice. A promotion. She wasn't a housemaid anymore. She was being appointed estate manager. With a salary 8 times her current one, private quarters of her own, and full authority over household operations. Maria's hands trembled. "Sir, I don't know what to say." "You earned it," Alexander replied simply. Then Lily opened hers. It was a scholarship letter, but not just any scholarship. It was an elite international academic and leadership program in Switzerland. The kind billionaires fought to get their children into. Full tuition, full accommodation, all expenses covered. Lily stared at the paper, speechless. I can't go," she said finally. "I can't leave Mom here. And I don't want to leave Ethan." Alexander nodded slowly. "That's why," he said, turning to Ethan, "I pulled some strings." Ethan looked up. "You're going too?" Lily gasped. "What?" Ethan's face exploded into the biggest smile she had ever seen. Maria burst into tears. Alexander wasn't done. "I'll be moving with you temporarily," he said calmly. "I have business to expand overseas anyway." Maria blinked. "You're going too?" Alexander looked at Ethan, then at Lily. There are some things money can't buy, he said. But once you find them, you protect them. Months later, in Switzerland, Lily stood on a snowy balcony overlooking the Alps. Ethan sat beside her, wrapped in a blanket, sipping hot chocolate. Crazy how life changes, he said softly. Yeah, she smiled. You're still annoying, though. He grinned. Good. Means I'm normal now. She nudged him. Forever. He nodded. Forever. Back home, people whispered about the billionaire who shocked the world, not by buying another company, but by adopting courage, rewarding loyalty, and turning a maid's daughter into family. And for the first time in his life, Alexander Graves was truly rich.